So in the last video, we had data that was entered for one car, all the waybill data. But when we actually went to look at the printout that was gonna show up for that waybill, things were not quite configured correctly. We could see that the colors had not yet been set up. So in this video, we're going to start to go and set some of those configuration data points, which is something we'll need to do really just once, unless you end up changing the way in which you want to do your color coding over time. So we'll jump in right there. Something looks wrong here. First of all, this is all black. You don't see any colors. I can't even read the town name here because it's all blacked out. That's a sign that something's not set up the way we want it to be set up. So there's one more configuration item that we need to address here in order to make this all work. And that is under this tab called CC, which is short for color codes. And you can see that right now the color codes are all set up with towns that were correct for me, but not correct for this layout. So let's just delete all of this stuff out of here. In fact, we'll even delete the colors out and the staging setting. And I'll just fill it all in from scratch. Again, I don't want to delete this first row, and you don't want to delete these things over here. These are calculated fields. But let's just take our town. So we had Easton, Weston, Big Town, fully spelled, I think. Smallton. What else? What else do we have here? Smallton. Oh, and Middle Junction we have. I'm just gonna. Middle Junction. Okay. Now for each one of these, you're going to assign colors for the division, which is really in my parlance is the yard in which it's going to be classified for, to go onto the final train that delivers it to the destination. So we'll start by doing our staging areas. So I'm just going to say my staging Easton is red and Weston is green. Now the towns and colors here don't actually mean very much, but I'm just going to go ahead and we're going to put the same things in there, and I'm going to mark these as true. And generally you'll leave these blank except for your staging where you'll put in the word true. And then let's say let's just suppose on my railroad now everything else that comes in as classified in big town. So that makes this fairly easy. If you had multiple major classification yards, you'd have multiple divisions within the layout. But I'll start by just using one. So we'll say all of the rest of this stuff is going to come into big town, be sorted in big town, and then sent out on an appropriate train. And let's say that big town is just let's make big town basically all blue here. And then let's say small town is going to go off on a train that's purple. And again, for now, I'm just going to make the train the same. Now, if you actually had multiple towns on the same train, then you'd want to have different town colors for a single train color. But in this case, that's not what we have. I'm just going to say tan maybe for these other colors, and I'll give you some information about the different colors that you can use for the colors that are allowed. So now when we come over here, right away we can see already this is looking a lot better. So I can see that that Chicago, the Chicago-bound train is supposed to go to the green division because that upper right-hand corner tells you the division. And this one that's going to Fred's Meats is going to the blue division, since it goes through Big Town. On the back side here, we should see down at the bottom, that's just, it ends up at the bottom because that's the way the printer is going to flip it over, or when you flip the paper manually. So in this case, again, this one's also green because it's going to Weston again, which is going to be the green. This one still goes through the blue division, but it's going to the small town train, which is blue. So we sort of have those different patterns there. And again, you can have many different colors of trains, divisions, and towns within those divisions. So that's the basics. You're really on your way. Now we're coming back over here to the waybills. This is where you're going to spend most of your time, because you're going to be putting all of the cars that you have, and you can go ahead and start putting these in here right away. You can say I've got let's suppose I have my own railroad, and its symbol is Quirt. Oh, I don't know why. QWERTY is too long. And so I've got a 1012 boxcar. And again, you'll see that that pink color here, indicating that that it hasn't been filled in yet. And you will, I think, as I pointed out before, if I have two that are the same, it turns red over here to warn me. In this case, I've got a hopper and a boxcar. They both have the same number. Oh no, wait, my hopper cars, I forget, they're all in the 400 series, so that should be 407. And that will then fix that. As I think I explained in some of the other videos, there's other fields here that are recognized as errors. So if I put in a blank spot or a bad spot in Big Town, it's going to turn this red because it says I know Big Town is an online town, and there is no spot ASD if whatever, right? Whereas over here in Chicago, I could put anything I want, and it says that's fine because I don't know what's in Chicago. Whatever you tell it, I'm going to accept, and it won't complain about that. Those are the basics. It's you're ready to go here. So that wraps up the core stuff. I will, in the next video, talk some about just the other tabs that you see within the spreadsheet there. There'll be a few other kind of miscellaneous topics to be covered. But at this point, you're at a place where you can go and start to fill in the data and have printable waybills ready to go.